Oulton Park hosts round 5 of the Fun Cup Endurance Championship. And with 3 wins and a second place finish from the first 4 races, Uvio Hoffmann's Lotus lead the standings. Now the teams are about to take on one of the UK's most challenging racetracks.
I'm fairly experienced around here, and one thing I have learned is when you make a move, you've got to be very confident with it. You don't want to be putting any half moves in, because for the car in front, it's very difficult to know if they can actually come back in the corner if you've backed out, or whether they need to give you room. So it's really important here to just make sure you're fully alongside the car you're overtaking, so they actually give you the room. Otherwise, that probably will. I mean, that's the case in every track, but I feel here specifically because there's a lot of places where you kind of get an overlap, but it's just a bit uncertain. So yeah, there's opportunities, but you've got to do it properly.
PLR Racing have drawn pole for the 4-hour race, with Track Focused joining them on the front row. Make Happen Racing and Greensaw Motorsport are on row 2, with Agua Caliente and Stand 2 Motorsport on row 3. On board then with Ben Pitch for PLR Racing from pole position. They lead the Masters category in this year's championship. Can they get their first outright race win of the year? We're about to find out as the lights go out, the race gets underway. Teddy Wilson alongside in the black Track Focus car, pushing hard to try and find a way around the outside at Old Hall Corner, but he's still second for now, I think. And in third place you've got Mark Owens for the Silver 212 Make Happen Racing team, as they all safely make it through Old Hall for the first time in the race, down through the avenue, down towards Cascades. It's the PLR Racing car in the lead of the race, but off into the barriers is Paul Caladine for We Have No Idea, into a spin for the green Team Olympian car of Chris Davell, and also in trouble the blue and white Paul Lewis driven Greensaw Motorsport car, but into the barriers with big damage then for Paul Caladine. Davell gets going again. Lewis looks like he's struggling. Let's get a replay and see exactly what happened. The Team Olympian won here last year to take the championship title in the final round of the season. There is the green machine. Let's have a look what happened. Just in front then is the Caladine car. John Curry was right behind it with the Enduro Motorsport onboard camera, and there was contact between the two cars, and then a slowing Greensaw Motorsport car just ahead. So I wonder if Caladine got on the brakes, maybe saw that coming, and then Chris Davell just nudged into the back of him, and then as he rejoined, he speared across the front of the ailing Greensaw Motorsport car. They were nose to nose, and lots of damage to the front splitter then, and right to the back of the field for Team Olympian. And there from the other angle you can see Paul Caladine sent spearing into the barriers with a fairly hefty impact. The driver's okay. As we rejoin live, coming downhill top for the first time in the race, then Ben Pitch from pole leads the way from Teddy Wilson for Track Focus. Mark Owens is another returnee to the championship this weekend, is there in third as a stand-in driver for Make Happen Racing. And there's Martin Compton in the 101 car trying to find a way past Scott Jeffs in the MJ Tech GT car as they climb uphill. Just in front of them, the orange and black machine of Andy Bicknell, Dispatch Bay Express, who was second in the championship, coming from 8th on the grid. Their closest rivals, the championship leaders, Uvio Hoffmann's from the very back of the grid, because they won the last race at Anglesey last time out. You're on board then with Scott Jeffs as they go the roller coaster dippers on the way down towards Lodge Corner. There's a challenge for the lead of the race here, and Ben Pitch sees alongside him Teddy Wilson, who fires it down the inside and goes through. So Track Focused here in the home circuit lead at Oulton Park at the end of the first lap of the race, but Ben Pitch now gets a better run coming out of Dearly over the grid hatchings, over the start finish line. Is there going to be a way through here? He's got to watch the mirrors because Mark Owens is right behind him as well in third, but it is still going to be the Track Focus machine that leads as they whip through the right-hander at Old Hall Corner. And then just behind them as well, a good start for Paul Turner in the 207 Agua Caliente car. He's made good progress from 5th on the grid. 6th position then, Scott Jeffs, number 61. And how did he get there? And the answer is, as there was a change of lead, there was also a change of position at the same corner at Lodge, and that was him going down the inside of the Dispatch Bay Express car to get up to 5th. This is outlook from the exterior, down the inside, a straightforward move, but he had to make sure he got the car stopped and through the corner. So Paul Lewis has made it back to the pits in the Greensaw Motorsport car. Really frustrating start to the race for him and his brother Ryan. There's Paul Caladine, and looks like they're going to send him back out now. So good news, they're going to get back into the race after that trip into the barriers as the top two come through. Just breaking clear a little bit now of third place, but what about the battle for fourth? Scott Jeffs down the inside, looking to get down the inside on the way into the chicane of Paul Turner, but he had to back off out of the move. And there, look, is the 225 car, the Uvio car from the very back of the field. Farkini, he's on the cusp of the top 10 here, and he's taking with him Gary Bate in the number 14 Greenheath team. Had their best ever weekend in Fun Cup last time out at Anglesey. And here is one of the key Masters Championship contenders this year, the 99 car of JPR Black Widows. Dominic Jackson, very experienced racer, driving at the moment, and he's onto the tail of GT Radial, driven by Jonathan Benson, an expert tyre tester who is guest driving this weekend alongside the regular Ellis Hadley. So they are battling just outside the top 10. Here is the UVO Hoffman's Lotus car onto the tail of the yellow Viking car of Mark Home, the Team Viking. So 10th place already from the very back of the field for Varkini, the championship leader. The top two come through, continuing to pull away from Mark Owens in Make Happen Racing in third. Scott Jeffs was definitely having a look at the inside at Old Hall corner there to get fourth place away from the grey number 207 Agua Caliente car, and in the background you can see I think he's nosed in front as they make their way down through the avenue down towards Cascades. Yes, he has up to fourth, and Andy Bittnell now looks to go at the inside as well. Paul Turner out wide on the way into Cascades, losing potentially another position. Yes, he has. And here comes the UVO car of Farkini, drawing alongside the Stobart Sport car of Colin Kingsnorth. They're trying to catch them all up with a lot of damage to that front splitter. Is Chris Duval right at the back of the field, on board with Scott Jeffs, who has closed the gap now to the final podium position, third and fourth. You're watching here, running nose to tail, going through Druids, and you can see you have to be so accurate and careful with the steering through there. Don't run too wide, but get on the gas as quickly as you can. Over the rollers and dip as they go, then down towards the braking zone at Lodge. Owens is going to hang on to that third place. Martin Compton showing his nose in the camouflage liveried Stantu Motorsport car to try and get ahead of Andy Bittnell. And here is Dominic Jackson with a brave move under braking all over the curbs. Goes a little bit wide, does he? Yes, onto the curbs, but that's a nice move from Dominic Jackson to get ahead of the GT Radial car. And here's Scott Jeffs diving up the inside at Old Hall corner to get into third place now. And Martin Compton and Farkini both diving up the inside of Andy Bittnell in the orange and black Dispatch Bay Express car. So the championship leaders already ahead of their closest rivals in the points, and now another place gain. Farkini just searing his way through the field here like a hot knife through butter. Replay then of this move on board with Scott Jeffs. It was all kicking off, wasn't it, on the way to Old Hall? This was a tidy move here to get into third place. And that's how it looked from the exterior. And just behind was where then that huge battle developed on the run down towards Cascades between Martin Compton, Farkini and Andy Bittnell. Right, this is the view from Ben Pitch, looking calm, looking relaxed, hanging on to Teddy Wilson there, the race leader. It was in his second Fun Cup race. And there is the squabble for third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and everybody else all together. Farkini down the inside of Mark Owens to gain another position then. So he's up to fourth from dead last now, from 23rd on the grid. Gets a good, ragged, but good run coming out of the chicane. That Knickerbrook up the Clay Hill section he goes now. And closing onto the tail, possibly of Scott Jeffs here, as they run towards the quickest corner on the lap. Druids coming towards the end of the lap. Now down the inside goes Farkini. He's not hanging around. He's got one idea, and that is to charge forward at the start of this race. He's not taking it easy. He's not looking after his points lead. He's just driving as he always does. And that's been a brilliant first few laps from Farkini. He's up to third place now. Fourth for the MJ Tech GT car, fifth for Make Happen Racing, sixth for Stantu Motorsport, seventh for Dispatch Bay, and eighth for Stobart Sports, now ahead of the Agua Caliente car as they came out of Lodge corner. There's the 107 car of Paul Calladine, a couple of laps down now after that trip to the barriers. Meanwhile, here's Colin Kingsnorth slicing up the inside of Andy Bittnell to gain a place at Old Hall. Andy sent a little bit wide onto the curbs, and that was a tidy move again, using the toe coming out of Lodge down the start-finish straight, but being very good, very precise on the brakes. And Kingsnorth off to a decent start here in the 170 Stobart Sport car, but you can see Andy Bittnell now comes back at him as they make their way through Lakeside and down towards Island and the Shell Oils hairpin. There's lots of out-braking opportunities. He's been pulling off some good moves in the race so far. Dominic Jackson, but he's about to lose a place here because carving up the inside of him is Sam Smee from 21st on the grid in the 108 Greensall Motorsport car. There's his teammate Nigel Greensall. That's a rare off for Nigel. So the CCS Media car, which he's driving this weekend, is stranded. That's at Knickerbrook. The leaders are coming into that part of the course now, and that potentially is going to bring the safety car out. And there's a huge gap from second back to third. So Ben Pitch, he's not going to be very happy about that. He's just lost a little bit of time on this lap to the race leader. And there in fourth place with the onboard camera, Scott Jeffs coming through now. He's falling away from Farkini, who whacks the curbs on the way out through Knickerbrook. But the safety car is being deployed as the field come through. There's the Agua Caliente car of Paul Turner, which had a good start to the race, but has lost several positions over the last couple of laps. Now behind the Greenheath car, and Nigel Greensall gets the car fired back up. So it'll be a very short safety car period. Well, back up to speed now after just a lap behind the safety car here at Oulton Park. It's bunched everybody back up together. It's been a huge benefit, this, for Farkini in the UVO Hoffmann's Lotus car. Still third, but now much, much closer to the tail of the PLR racing machine of Ben Pitch. And he dives up the inside on the way to Lodge at the end of the first lap of the restart and gets through. So up to second place now, and he one more to overtake, and he'll have gone from last to first in this race. So Ben Pitch down to third place. The top three, Track Focus, UVO Hoffmann's Lotus and PLR Racing run through. And up to fourth place here, Martin Compton squeezing up the inside for Stand 2 Motorsport.
And we'll be back at Oulton Park for more Fun Cup endurance action after this very short break.
We are 40 minutes into this 4-hour race, and so the first of 5 mandatory pit stop windows has opened, ready for driver changes. That's Neil Smith, who will get into the race-leading track-focused car. Fabio Randaccio, whose teammate Farkini has got the UVO Hoffmann's Lotus car from the back of the grid up to second place, and there in third place leading the Masters category is Ben Pitch for PLR Racing. 4th, 5th and 6th close together as well. Scott Jeffs for MJ Tech GT. Colin Kingsnorth for Stobart Sport, and there 101 Martin Compton for Stand 2 Motorsport. That's Christian Rose taking over the wheel now of the Olympian car, which got caught up in that early race incident. So too the 125 car, back out now but several laps down. The race leader into the pits, Teddy Wilson for Track Focused, and we've also got UVO in from second place as well. Farkini handing over to Fabio Randaccio. Neil Plymouth has already stepped in for PLR Racing, so he's about to come out of dear lead. There's the UVO car of Fabio Randaccio, so that's got ahead of Track Focused. Will it get out just in front of Neil Plymouth here, or is the PLR Racing car going to pick up the lead of the race? The UVO car just out in front, so that's into first place now. PLR Racing will be second, and there the Track Focused car coming out with Neil Smith on board, but Viking are going to get through as well with Nick Nunn, so he'll be third. Track Focused will come out in fourth place, and this is the battle for fifth place, on board with Martin Gibson for MJ Tech GT, taking over from Scott Jeffs down the inside of Richard Webb, and another great move into Old Hall Corner. We're into the third stint now of the race here at Oulton Park, and I'm afraid that is the Enduro Motorsport car coming in of Chris Wetherall and John Curry on the back of a truck that already got the spare car after trouble in testing. So a fraught weekend for the team, I'm afraid. You're on board there with Ben Pitch, who's still involved in this lead battle. Now we've got the Viking car up front though. Mark Home into first place. They've had a couple of good pit stops. They're out ahead of the UVO Lotus Hoffmann's car, which is driven once again by Farkini, who looks down the inside at the end of the avenue. The run downhill into Cascades, and up ahead through he goes into the lead of the race. And now closing in here is Ben Pitch. He gets the better run coming out of the corner because the Viking car had to get offline. He's trying to squeeze down the inside here all the way to Island Bend, the fastest corner at this section of the circuit. It gets through as well. Brave stuff from Ben Pitch. He almost had to put 2 wheels on the grass there, but through he went, and the top 3 absolutely glued together here after 2 hours of racing. And it's also incredibly close for fourth place. Up ahead, that is Riley Phillips in the green Olympian car, squeezing up the inside of Gary Bate for Team Greenheath, and having dropped right to the back of the pack after that lap 1 incident, Olympian now back up to a brilliant fourth place. And then we've got a really tight scrap going on for 7th place as well, with Make Happen Racing, the green Aqua Calianti car, which is second in the Masters category, and the GT Radial car trying to squeeze up the inside as well. There are battles everywhere, but not involved in it anymore, I'm afraid, as Stobart Sports in with a damaged suspension. It's the closing stages of round 5 of the Fun Cup Championship here at Oulton Park. I'm afraid, though, out of the running after a big crash at the back of the circuit, a Team Greenheath. Thankfully, the driver on board, Gary Bates, is back in the pits and okay, but a real shame after the team making great progress during the last couple of rounds of the championship. So they're out of the running, but very much in the running for a podium finish. Maybe a win, maybe a Masters category victory are these two. Neil Plymouth getting in, the most experienced Fun Cup driver of all. He's taken over from Ben Pitch. They're looking for their second podium finish of the season, but they're up against Team Olympian and UVO Hoffmann's Lotus, who've already made their pit stops and now coming over the start-finish line. They're going into Old Hall Corner, absolutely side by side here. Riley Phillips trying to go around the outside of Fabio Randaccio, and there's great close racing, almost contact between them. They both got through before the PLR Racing car comes out of the pit. So this is the battle for the lead of the race, and down the inside on the way into Cascades goes Riley Phillips. That's a brave move, so he's into the lead of the race, and they're in third position, a few seconds behind them. Neil Plymouth there to pick up the pieces if they hold each other up. Fourth place for Martin Gibson for the MJ Tech GT team. They're doing a good job here, but they've got to keep on it because fifth place not that far behind is the 212 Make Happen car of Greg Evans, and the quickest driver out in that group at the moment is this man, Teddy Wilson, back in the track focus machine. He was leading the race in the first stint. He's been ably supported by Neil Smith and Mike McCollum, and he's now out for the final stint, and they're chasing him down. Is the 101 car for Stand 2 Motorsport, now driven by Warren McKinley. It's still nose to tail though in the battle for the lead of the race, and it will be quite a story if Olympian can win this race now, having been involved in that lap 1 crash. They're also carrying a lot of damage to the car, which has been hindering them, as Christian Rose now explains.
We're understeering everywhere just because the bodywork's out of place. We're missing half the split. You know, it's just one of those type of things. And then we didn't realise until the first pit stop we couldn't get the door open to get the next driver in, so having to yank on the door, and then we couldn't get the fuel churn in, so having to really yank on the bonnet, and it was, we lost so much time every single pit stop, but we've just sort of made it work. We've learned, and then every pit stop we know what we have to do.
Well, we could be in for another nail-biting finale here at Oulton Park. It always seems to serve up these close races. And they see the 262 track focus car of Teddy Wilson has already dispatched of Greg Evans. Now, Greg Evans and Make Happen Racing are looking to move up into the top 3 of the championship here this weekend. They've had a superb season, but look how quick Teddy Wilson is getting away. And it's side by side again for the lead of the race as they come over the start-finish line. Trying to go around the outside here is Fabio Randaccio. 1 or 2 spots of rain on the camera lens as well. He goes wide, bits of bodywork fly off the Uvio Hoffman's car. They go over the crest now, downhill towards Cascades. He's got the inside line here. The car hopping and bouncing over the tarmac. Still side by side, nothing between these two great drivers. Fabio Randaccio and Riley Phillips head off down through Island Bend and into the distance, and they're still absolutely neck and neck. And here's another great battle. This one's for 7th place. Warren McKinley trying to get down the inside of Nick Nunn here in the Team Viking car. Goes a little bit wide on the exit to Old Hall Corner, and that's going to go right down to the wire as well here. There's the Agua Caliente car, which is 2nd in the Masters category. So it's been a great day for Rob Perry and Matt Hogg as they come out of Old Hall Corner. 3rd place in the Masters category is going to go to Greensall Motorsport, it seems. But who's going to lead the race? Over the crest, and Uvio Hoffman's Lotus have done it. So they were side by side when they disappeared off towards Shell, and now there's a couple of car lengths between them. This rather second-hand looking number 1 car comes through, then heads towards Knickerborough. But whatever happens, it's been a terrific comeback from Riley Phillips, Chris Duval and Christian Rose. Have they got time for one more chance? Neil Plymouth fighting the wheels. He attacks the curves for PLR Racing. They're on for a 2nd podium in 3 races and another Masters category victory to extend their lead in that championship. Neil Plymouth and Ben Pitch. That's for any team with a driver age 55 or above. And here comes the track focus car of the young gun, Teddy Wilson, down the inside of Martin Gibson. He gives him room, that goes on the grass. Can Martin get back on the track in time? He does, but he loses the position. So that through into 4th place then is Teddy Wilson for track focused. Final lap of the race here at Oulton Park, and despite their best efforts, Christian Rose and Chris Duval there look like they're going to have to settle for 2nd place. Riley Phillips has fallen back from Fabio Randaccio, and Uvio Hoffman's Lotus from last place on the grid come out through Dearly, head for the line and pick up another race victory. That's 4 wins out of 5. What a season Fabio Randaccio and Farkini are having, but a great drive through to 2nd place for Team Olympian. After all their bad luck this season, it's great to see them back on the podium. Confirmation of the result then, with PLR Racing completing the podium, Track Focus getting their best result of the season in 4th, with MJ Tech GT and Make Happen Racing picking up 5th and 6th.